Zeke Ninja for $10 says Chris Rock let two white comedians call him a hard R in his face, and he laughed like it was funny. I do want to get into that.
That was literally all right, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you unfunny non-comedy. That clip is taken so far out of context. The parameters is these are all jokes. Now, because y'all are okay with those jokes, that's fine. If you don't have a group of white friends that you allow to say the N-word, then cool. That was literally just sitting there shooting in the name of comedy. If you find it funny, then cool. If you don't, whatever. But that's just dumb. They didn't just sit there and call him the hard R. That's not what happened.
Yeah, my sense of comedy has just changed. The Chris Rock special came out, and you know,
was not funny, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just let it sit.
I really
play it again. Okay.
Yeah, not funny no more. I don't know what to, and I don't know if that's even one of those or one of these or.
I was watching I don't know, bro. He was trying to get some. Right? I didn't think it was funny. Two, I saw someone tweet this out. Comedians talking about cancel culture. Talk about something else, dog. Like every stand-up special now is talking about cancel culture. And even in the special, I don't like he was trying to get the edgy jokes off, but I just felt like it didn't hit as much because every single segment, every single story, every single joke he was trying to say, he would always like preface the joke. He's like, now before I say what I say, let me preface this by saying I am for equality, I'm for X, Y, and Z. I'm just like, all right, dog. Like, do you want that? Like, I don't know. And that's what a lot of stand-up comedy now too. I feel like, but more specifically with like, I know he has to.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
He has to for the sake of his brand. Like, it's not an actual requirement, yo. You gotta say this.
But if that's the case, if you feel like that's the case, then you need to just go ahead and go deep into your brand. You need to start making kids movies, ABC shows. Hit up Nickelodeon and see if they, you know what I'm saying, want to do some work. But if you feel like you have to tiptoe the line where and mind you, before I say this next joke right here, I got gay friends. My sister's gay. I've kissed a man. You know, I'm very tolerant of gay people, but what's up with the gays? Like,
but it's the fact that first of all, I get that when it comes to just comedy in general. Yes, you shouldn't have to put parameters and preferences. Like you shouldn't have to preference each joke.
I want you to know
for normal comedy.
Out of context, Clippers
is going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy. But we're talking about a mainstream comic. Like Chris Rock is a mainstream comic. He's years and he's decades into this life and his game, and he has connections and he represents something that you have to just oblige by mainstream rules. Now, every comedian doesn't have to do that. That's why it's crazy that Dave Chappelle goes as hard as he does with the jokes that he makes, is because he's seen as a mainstream comedian. But guys like Andrew Schultz, Schultz don't got to do that. Schultz, he's breaking it. He's just now getting to that level now where he's considered mainstream. But before then, Schultz don't got to do that. He's saying, why won't they retire? Why? They love doing comedy.
And they broke.
Omar, give me the boom sound. Give me the boom sound after I say this.
I'm ready.
Uh-oh.
But why didn't he say this with Jada though? The preface shit. He didn't have to preface it during the Oscars.
You know why? What are we doing?
Because he's a comedian?
No, because a bunch of Jews and white men wrote them jokes, and
he said he wrote that.
Yeah, he ain't write them fucking jokes.
Okay.
Yeah. That nigga's lying. That nigga's lying.
Okay.
That nigga's lying, bro.
I ultimately it takes away from the joke when you do this. But I even thought honestly, and again, I just think my sense of comedy has definitely changed.
Who do you watch? My fault. And I ain't even.
No, I don't watch stand-up comedians. I even found when Dave Chappelle did that one stand-up not too long ago, I was sitting there outside of even because I think he said some of the transgender car situation shit. I think he said that later in the thing. I was watching the first half and I was like, this is just not funny. Even the niggas that was like, oh man, this is just so smart. This is smart comedy. Like, smart comedy or not, this is just not funny.
What about the dude that's beefing with George Lopez?
I think his shit is like straight.
You don't like his shit either?
It's straight. It's like a little. Oh, I can get a little laugh out of it.
You think it's straight? Oh, okay. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay.
Cool.
I'm about to say because it's definitely a difference between levels of comedians. Mainstream comedians, they're gonna follow that line of it's always you're gonna have that sense of why are you still doing this at that point. But at the same time, legacy acts, niggas got bills to pay. And some niggas just still love doing comedy. So, because Chris Rock, he still goes around like random comedy clubs doing open mics. Like, he still works on material, shit like that. Like, he still enjoys comedy. So, I'm not going to say, oh, he broke and need the money. Nah, I mean, we all need money. No, he's in showbiz. He does need the money. But he still loves doing comedy. So, he's going to do it. And he's going to do it in the parameters of what won't get him canceled. It is what it is. But a lot of these, it's hard to find these older guys or guys that were like popping when our parents was the comedy fucking the people they push comedy towards, like what was advertised for. These guys now, the Dave Chappelle's, the Cat Williams, the Chris Rocks, their shit's just dated in age. This shit's just not funny in general. Hell, Kevin Hart is like straggling the line in his last special. He's getting to that point now where it's just not that funny. And the comedy game is changing. A lot of these niggas doing podcasts. A lot of these niggas podcasts is way funnier than they stand-up sets. And I'm keeping 1,000. It's a lot of niggas who they have successful podcasts, and I watch them on stage. You're not it. It's not for me. So the comedy game has definitely changed.
Do you think, and maybe this is just me looking at certain industries, do you think too many industries now are relying on the success of very successful people who were successful in the 2000s and the late 2000s?
Yes. Yeah.
In terms of the rap, I saw that clip. From Rory and Mal talking about like, the rap game is too reliant on Drake. With the NBA, LeBron, they're milking the fuck out of the LeBron era. With what we just said with comedians, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just an observation.
First of all, and this is why I'm glad. And this is why you shouldn't watch that bum ass pod. I don't know what they're talking about. Only niggas in the NBA that played when LeBron was in his prime or came with LeBron is who?
No. They're talking about just the idea of LeBron.
I said late 2000s too. So Curry, Harden, KD.
The 2010s guys, the guys from the 20. I mean, that's who are in their primes. You can't. It would make no sense to just start pushing the fuck out of all these young niggas without substance and like anything to prove. How much can you push Luka without Luka winning in the playoffs? How much can you push Zion without Zion actually playing 70 games? Like you can't. For basketball, that's a bad point. On their part, I think that's a bad point on their part. And in rap music, that's definitely not true. There's been so many one-hit wonders and one-year wonders in the past 5 years. Shit's crazy. The sound of rap changes every 3 years. Hell, in 2018, you're telling me Little Pump was running rap. 6ix9ine was running rap in terms of mainstream rap. Like that, the niggas was running it, and now they're gone, and you insert your Little Babies or whoever's popping now. Niggas aren't reliant on Drake. Drake just got pulled. If he drops, niggas gonna listen to Drake, but niggas aren't fiending. The rap game isn't on hold if Drake don't drop. Like other people's gonna drop. Music is gonna get carried however music is carried. Those are just bad points on the niggas' part.
Well, let me be more specific. I think a lot of industries are finding it hard to create that new IP that creates a whole new generation of shit. Is that more specific?
I personally think so. I understood what you were saying in the first time too. I think so. I think they're having a hard time transitioning to the new wave. Now it could be through a plethora of reasons. Some of these folks is dying. Some of these folks are going to jail. Some of these folks just aren't as good as, advertised. So ultimately, we can't just rely on some of these acts like we want to. But ultimately, I think a lot of these industries are specifically like acting and comedy. I get it. Some of these things can like transform as they get older, but there should be a new cream of there should be a new crop that is supposed to be rising that maybe I'm missing it, can't identify. It's getting pushed differently, but I just don't see it.
I think it should just be clear. This is clearly the next generation. Like for the next 10 years, 12 years, we know these are going to be household names.
Well, and what happens is, in my opinion, how can you do that?
That's a problem, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think that's the problem. But what I'm saying when I say that, I think that's what happens, and shit ultimately falls off. Boxing, baseball. I think that shit like that happens where, okay, there's not a household name that's coming up next. This guy is either gonna fade out because they're just, older now, or
WWE, they are milking the fuck out of The Rock, John Cena, all those. Maybe I just don't watch the WWE, but I feel like that's.
No,
you don't think they do?
Hell no, nigga. John Cena don't even wrestle. No, they milk the fuck out of Roman Reigns because that's their biggest wrestler. But no, they don't. How do they milk the fuck out of?
I just felt like for a period of time, and it was very recently, just from my memory, WWE was just bringing back The Rock, Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Batista, and all of these superstars from the 2000s and the late 2000s to bring on that nostalgia factor. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
Can I ask you outside of Roman Reigns, who else is on the level or close to Roman Reigns?
That guys that gets pushed, and I'm speaking from a very casual when it comes to wrestling, and I only know this because
that's what I like to talk about. When we're casual, that's when we really lay it off.
Hey, that's a fact. But from what I've seen, Cody Rhodes gets pushed. Cody Rhodes gets a crazy push.
Cody Rhodes.
And again, if you go look at Cody Rhodes now compared to the Cody Rhodes that you're thinking of, Omar, when I said Cody Rhodes, it's not even the same character. It's not even the same guy. Like this is a different guy.
But ain't that the son of that legendary wrestler?
Dusty Rhodes. Yes. Son of Dusty Rhodes.
I thought he was lame when I was watching WWE.
Cody Rhodes 40, Damo. I understand what you're saying, though.
But he just came back. He just came back in the wrestling. He wasn't in the WWE this whole time. He came back. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a big push. And honestly, I'm not going to hold you. Those are the only two names I can give you for real because I'm a casual. So unless Dick Flair, Larry, maybe Unk back here, he can probably tell you something. But me, I could just give you Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on top of Roman Reigns. Those are the big three that I hear nowadays.
I think if you look at industries, what they're saying is that you can look at clear transitions that kind of overlap, right? Even in wrestling, when it went from the Macho Man Randy Savages, the Hulk Hogan's, the Andre the Giants, when you transition from these eras, I'm not naming them in order, chat, relax. When you transition from these eras up into the 90s, the Attitude Era, NWO, and all this other stuff like that, transitioning into the 2000s, you can see the clear transition. And then here, maybe two or three guys, but it's not this whole wave that's there. Now, mind you, I might not be watching wrestling to make that stance. But with actors, there's some big name stars. There are still some out there. Mm-hmm. But man, they keep calling Denzel Washington back. They keep calling Samuel Jackson back. They keep putting makeup on, these niggas until they just stop. Morgan Freeman recently has just stopped. He's like, I'm not doing this no more. Y'all can't make me do this no more.
I'm tired.
I'm done. We're sitting here waiting. The people that are getting the big comedy shows on, the Showtime performances, the HBO specials and all that stuff still are the Dave Chappelle's, who's 59, the Chris Rocks, who's 88, the Louis C.K., who's 87. Who are the next guys? Now, I know Ralph Barbosa is next up, but what's the next cream of the crop?
It's starting to happen a little bit with comedy. If you're looking into it, it's starting to be a couple guys that are standing out and making that push to really be mainstream. I'm going to say it's hard to do that when it comes to music and rap. I would say those two for sure. It's hard to just be like, hey, these are the guys that's next up, because they try to do that in rap with the freshman XXL list, but that you see how that shit's went. But that's because of how XXL ran that, and they fucked that up. But rap has tried to do that. Now, can you say it's worked every time? No. Like, some of these guys fall off. You can't anticipate that. And in basketball, I mean, you can try to push a young guy, but again, how far can you keep pushing for a young guy to be this so-called great player if they're not winning? And they're not, so you have some of these things you have to
rig it.
But this guy,
David Stern, what would you think David Stern would have did? And I'm just every day, man.
Hey, that's what rig it, bro.
I think that there's not. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying, Damo.
Just don't say it in public.
It is hard to push a young guy. Like, we're about to push Trae Young, and then the franchise's ass, and then he's about to move. It's hard to, try to push Jason Tatum. This franchise takes a turn. It starts being ass. There's no way that we can solidify that he'll be here for a long time, and then he moves. Like, Oh, I do want to show some comedy that I like though, if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
I think that this shit is kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. But also, I'm silly, you know. Silly kind of guy.
Compliment somebody and they take it too far. You wasn't really trying to say all that. You're like, yeah, I like this spaghetti. Yeah, I was thinking about opening up a business. No, it ain't that good. It's not that good. Don't go get no LLC or no. It's all right. It's sweet as a mother. I don't even like sweet.
All right, when y'all don't laugh, it's not funny. All right.
Oh, I was waiting for the joke. I was waiting for it to get funny.
That was a joke?
You know who
don't
you
get an LLC because it's not that good? Is that the joke? I'm asking. Okay.
Listen, Omar, I don't know. I don't know like what kind of this guy here. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed.
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed.
That moment you try to get your friends to laugh.
That's an air ball.
There you go. Now,
yo, this TikTok is hella funny, guys.
No, I think he's funny because like that's you know that's some relatable shit. Like somebody always does take it that far. Like, oh, okay, it's good peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, I was thinking about opening up a restaurant, selling it in stores. All right.
Compliment somebody and they take it too far. You wasn't really trying to say all that. You're like, yeah, I like this spaghetti. Yeah, I was thinking about opening up a business. No, it ain't that good. It's not that good. Don't go get no LLC or no. It's all right.
Oh, you playing it again? I thought you just.
Yeah, he played it again.
I thought he continued it from where it left off.
Oh, Omar, listen. This is all I would ask. If something funny or something you want to laugh, it's this thing called Cancel Court on YouTube. I don't know if you watch them. They're hilarious, and it's a bunch of up and coming, like independent. That nigga probably is on one of the episodes. It's a bunch of up and coming black comedians and shit like that. A lot of guys are indie. Some guys, Tony Baker does them. Some guys who are like mainstream or veterans, but whatever. A bunch of independent guys. That shit is hilarious.
Absolutely. No, he's on there.
Absolutely. Cancel Court, absolutely hilarious, bro. I would recommend niggas go watch some of that shit. Watch Andrew Schultz. Watch Chrissy D. Watch these niggas, bro. Niggas, those are the guys I watch that I think are fucking hilarious. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I watch some of the old shit. Nigga, I still put on Patrice O'Neal stand up. Patrice O'Neal is still top 5 for me. I also love Patrice O'Neal.
Some of these industries are dying because what's it called?
85 South Show.
Some of these industries are dying. I don't think that these like comedians strive to be like stand-up comedians or whatever. It's more about the Instagrams, getting all that stuff. I've seen a bunch of TikToks now that Drewski's going on tour. And I want to say something. I don't think that what people are saying about Drewski is right. They're saying that the could have been tour is not funny or whatever. It's not what I expected. But it's literally him doing his could have been record shit on tour. And so then, like you seen when he does the videos, the recorded videos where he's like in the background, like he's in the background, people come up and audition like American Idol. It's him doing that live. And people are mad. They're like, oh, I thought this was going to be a comedy show. I thought this was going to be Drewski.
That sounds like a terrible tour, though. Like that being the idea.
I don't think that's it. But that's what he does.
That's what he does.
That's like us. That's like us.
No, I know that's what he does, but
I don't know. That's doing a podcast that niggas not expecting to hear the.
That's an air ball.
That's like us going to DreamCon to do a panel. Then we start talking. All right, so yo, how y'all enjoy ours so far? Hey yo, what the fuck is this? Hey yo, start rapping. I didn't pay for.
No. I'm not talking about from an expectation standpoint. Like if Drewski, if that's what he's promoting it as, don't be disappointed like with what you get. I'm just talking about the idea. And are these like scripted shows type shit, or is it like
it's his
pulling up random people?
I see what you're saying. They have people.
They practice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they practice whatever they're gonna do.
That's like if it's a scripted thing, and he can make people laugh. That's something else. But if it's just let's bring up random people from the crowd, I feel like that has a high risk of just like flopping type shit.
It's like a I mean, they play some music in the beginning. Maybe some like quick observational, but the premise of the show is the premise of his own show. They have people that they vetted. It might be about 16 people, and the thing is to try to get signed up to Could Have Been Records. So
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I just he's not a stand-up comedian, so I didn't. People were saying that in the TikToks. Yeah, I just thought it was gonna be a little funnier, or it's gonna be a comedy show or whatever. I'm like, I'm not going into, and even that TikTok I just played, I'm not going in to bust out laughing. I'm sitting there waiting, watching those Drewski skits to like, there's a meme out of this. This is funny. I can use this later on. This sound is a little funny here. I don't know.
People know. I think people got poor comedy show etiquette anyway. I don't think niggas don't know how to properly go to certain shows. I don't know. Niggas don't know how to conduct themselves for real.
What do you mean? Like you gotta laugh at certain points, or
not even laugh at certain points? It's just I feel like some people go to a comedy show. They'll go to a comedy show just to go to a comedy show, but you don't know the comic. You don't know their material. You don't know what their kind of comedy style they have. So you get there, and this nigga is doing an act that you're not okay with, but you paid to go because it's a comedy show and not the Jeff Dunham comedy show. People going to see Jeff Dunham, they know, oh, this nigga's going to bring out puppets. But if you knew there was just something you wanted to do and you end up going to a comedy show because you like comedy and you end up going to Jeff Dunham and they bring puppets out, you're going to be up there, the fuck, I don't like fucking ventriloquists. So now you're mad. And that's a real thing. Yeah. People don't like, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're going to. Like, I wouldn't aimlessly just go to the fucking comedy. Like, I don't know. I know if I go to the comedy store, if I go to the improv comedy store, some shit like that, I know I'm going to see open mics. I'm going to have a level of respect and humbleness to the people going because I know what I'm going for. But other people, oh, I'm going to laugh. And now they don't laugh. Now they're having a bad time and you're heckling or you're doing extra shit or you're complaining now. But, nigga, you went to an open mic comedy night, bro. Lower your expectations. You think you coming here to see the next Kevin Hart on a random opening night, like a random open mic. That's just whack.